Well, hello there. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be going over my top 10 tips and tricks for the Ghost of Tsushima to refresh your memory in preparation for the director's cut with Iki Island coming out tomorrow. Before we get into the video, however, I upload new videos every week, so be sure to subscribe to the channel not to miss out on upcoming Ghost of Tsushima content, including walkthroughs and Kenna Bridge of Spirits content coming out very soon. Remember to watch the video all the way to the end, as I saved the juicy content toward the end, and I've also got a couple of bonus tips after my number one tip. Keep in mind that if you haven't played the Ghost of Tsushima before, there are some minor spoilers in this video, but nothing too major. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 10, how to export your Prev Gen Ghost of Tsushima play save. So this is specific if you played Ghost of Tsushima on a Prev Gen console and you were to export your save game to the new console, as Ghost of Tsushima came out a few months before the next gens. There are two ways you can do it. You can crack out your old console, move the save onto a memory stick or a hard drive, and then upload it to your next gen console that way. Or you can download it from the cloud, as I'm showing you now. All you have to do is go to Cloud Saves, select the relevant play save, and download it to your console. Bear in mind this will overwrite any saves that are already there. Number 9. Remember that Tsushima Island is divided into 3 sections that you can see by zooming out on the map. I highly recommend you finish the entirety of each section before moving on to the next. Use the map to plot waypoints for the more mundane tasks like finding altars and pillars of honor in between the Tales of Tsushima and the main missions. This will be paramount to keeping your resources high so you can afford essential upgrades as soon as they are available, and making you more powerful for the next section with tougher enemies. Number 8. Charms and Armour. Change your charms and armour depending on the situation. If you're exploring, then put on the Traveller's Attire, as it clears more fog of war and vibrates when you're in proximity of a collectible. If you need to be stealthy, the Ghost or the Ronin armour. If you intend to enter a standoff, the Clan Sakai armour, and so on and so forth. Also take into account your playstyle. If you find yourself taking a lot of damage, then Gosaku's armour might be a good shout, or the Kensei armour if you prefer a more Ghost-esque playthrough, as the Kensei armour has a lot of buffs for the Ghost weapons. Number 7. Upgrade trees. Prioritise your upgrade tree depending on your playstyle. Read every single upgrade before you invest points and see which abilities complement your playstyle. For example, I prefer to parry a lot, so I went for mostly parry upgrades for my first set of skill points, and I also used the parry charm, which increases the time window for parrying, and then I moved on to other upgrades once I had chosen my more preferable. Number 6. Mythic Tales. Complete the Mythic Tales as soon as one becomes available. They are denoted by this symbol, and there are 5 of them in the game. They are very useful. They unlock 4 useful abilities and 1. If you are enjoying this video, please leave a like and subscribe, as it helps me out and it lets me know what you got. Number 5. Play your way. Now, minor spoiler alert is in effect from this point. Remember that unlike other Sucker Punch titles, the way in which you play the game has no outcome on the story. No matter whether you choose to play as an honourable samurai or the Ghost, Jin will ultimately become the Ghost no matter what. All that will happen in the game if you engage in dishonourable practices, you will see flashback of Jin's uncle teaching him the ways of the samurai, and that's it. So you'll feel a little guilty, but not much else. You have a huge arsenal of weapons in the game, so don't be afraid to mix it up and see what's best. Standoffs, assassinations, ghost weapons, and the bow. Try them all, see what suits your playstyle, easily switch between all of them depending on the situation and how best to dispatch your enemies. Number 4. Combing for resources. After you've cleared out an enemy position, be sure to scour it top to bottom, as there's all sorts of chests and other hidden resources dotted about. It's a good idea to switch to the Traveller's Attire, and then it will vibrate when you're in close proximity to documents or Mongol artifacts. Well done if you made it this far. I'll save my best tips till last, but 2 bonus tips at the end. Number 3, switching stances. Remember to switch stances. I cannot stress this enough. It might seem obvious to many players, I hope it does, but I imagine there's also many players where you just forget to switch stance. You just stay in stone stance for fighting swords. But each stance has abilities that are designed to counter each type of enemy. Stone for swords, water for shields, wind for spears, and a moon for heavy enemies. You will struggle if you do not keep this in mind. Number 2, fighting enemies. Do not allow yourself to become surrounded. This may happen when you're clearing out a large Mongol camp. Keep moving to keep the enemies coming toward you rather than surrounding you and have them all attacking at once, as they will in the later stage of the game. If you do find yourself surrounded, which you probably will here and there, you can sprint away briefly. The enemies will follow you in a kind of funnel. You can then kill them one by one. Alternatively, you can use a smoke bomb to assassinate 1 or 2, and you can use various other ghost weapons like the kunai to break the guard of some enemies that are attacking, so only 1 or 2 will attack you at once instead of 5 or whatever. Last but not least, number 1, my best tip. Review your techniques. Before you start a fight, for the first however many fights of the game that it takes, quickly go into the techniques menu, quickly review all of the moves that you've unlocked so far, and be sure to use them in the fight. This is going to make sure that those techniques and all of the button combinations become second nature to you, and you'll become proficient at the game much quicker than if you don't. Practice each technique, practice the ones that you use the least, see which ones complement your playstyle the best. I have 2 bonus tips for you guys that watched the whole video. It supports me very much, I appreciate it. Number 1, talk to Baku the Voiceless. She is in the middle of the lower part of the map. You can get game altering buffs from her, essentially modifiers. It can make the game a lot of fun, you can make it easier, you can make it harder. And bonus tip number 2 is pay attention to the bonus objectives when you're clearing out a Mongol camp. They're in the top left hand corner. If you complete those, you get more technique points. Thank you so much for watching. That does it for my top 10 tips and tricks for the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. You definitely want to subscribe so you don't miss out on Ghost of Tsushima walkthroughs I'll be doing very soon. I will see you in my next video. Have a good one.